economy. Government's 2012-2015 program includes the implementation of these measures and policies announced. Over the next 3 years of its current mandate, government will build on the firm platform that has been laid over the last 7 years to create a more prosperous and fairer society for all. Honourable members, key to quality of life is economic prosperity for all. A prosperous nation is underpinned by expectations of promising and stable growth rates. Government has successfully achieved this combination to date, despite the recent dramatic turmoil in the major economies of the world. Government remains committed to the principles that have produced the growth improvement of the last 7 years. An open and market-friendly environment, low taxes that have substantially benefited the middle class, whilst removing thousands from the tax net, and a reduction in red tape. This combination of transparency, flexibility and security remains the bedrock of our policy and critical to producing the inclusive economic growth that characterizes economic democratization. However, what has become clear since the presentation of the 2010-2015 government program is that the domestic economy faces new challenges. Our dependence on Europe as a key market needs to diminish as we increase our exposure to growth economies. At the same time, we need to move up the value chain and encourage growth, investment and jobs in new sectors. We need to prepare our economy and society for change. In 1997, government published Vision 2020, and the country now needs to update its long-term vision to provide an overarching view of development for the decades to come. Government proposes to set up a National Strategic Transformation Commission, which will, in consultation with all stakeholders, make recommendations on optimal use of resources, inclusive growth, sustainable development, urban planning, land zoning, as well as promotion of new sectors. As the Eurozone problems show, key to economic resilience is prudent public finances. Government will continue to ensure macroeconomic policies are appropriate and that the country's finances remain sound. Government success in controlling public finances has been highlighted by the recent announcement from a sovereign debt credit rating agency that Mauritius government debt is on positive watch and our country's rating may be upgraded. This is due to the resilience of our economy, the extent of FDI into high-value added sectors, and the government's progress in reducing the debt service burden. This reflects the sound fiscal stewardship of the last 7 years, as well as government's ongoing commitment to fiscal rectitude, as evidenced by government's adoption of the Debt Management Act. Government has brought down public sector debt as a ratio of GDP to 54% from 64% in 2005. It will bring this down further to 51% by 2015 and below 50% thereafter. The debt service burden as a percentage of tax revenue has fallen by 20% between 2005 and 2012. To control debt, the budget deficit has been more than halved from an unsustainable 8.1% in 2005 to 3.8% of GDP in 2012. For the first time in many years, government is achieving a surplus on its current account. As a result, and as promised, every new rupee of debt now goes towards financing investment in the future. This control of public finances has been achieved even while taxation has been reduced. Lower taxes have produced greater tax revenue, but there may still be many who are not paying the taxes they should. The Mauritius Revenue Authority, which will be provided with additional resources, will use the tax gap analysis to ensure that all those who should be paying taxes meet their obligations to society. As well as making tax collection more efficient, government will continue to examine the level of parastatal efficiency and bring expenditure under control. Government will undertake a major rationalization of parastatal bodies and state-owned enterprises with a view to improving cost-effectiveness, quality of services, and optimal use of human resources. Following the recent success of rationalization in the cane industry, government will initiate a similar exercise for all academic research institutions, which will be merged under one institutional umbrella by the end of 2013. Since 2006, government has attracted more FDI than the previous 40 years put together. Government has ambitious plans for infrastructure investment, but to maintain control of public debt, it will aggressively seek FDI inflows to finance these projects. By 2015, 10% of the financing of major public infrastructure in the public sector investment plan will be through FDI flows. In order to stimulate investment, government will maintain its focus on improving the doing business climate and will continue to provide clear and transparent guidelines for investors. Government's target is to focus FDI promotion efforts to sectors with high wage potential. Since 2005, government has, through its labor market reforms, achieved a decline in the unemployment rate. Paradoxically, workers are looking for employment, though employment faces a scarcity of workers. Government will respond to this structural problem by finalizing and implementing the Decent Work Country program, providing further training and employment opportunities for the youth under the National Youth Employment Program, promoting green jobs, upgrading employment information centers into pôles d'emploi, creating more space in the SME sector, and setting up a National Employment Resource Center with the assistance of the International Labour Office. This center will offer extensive information on the labour market, job prospects, education, and training. A new national training strategy will be developed to ensure that reforms in education and training are attuned to changes occurring in the larger economy and the labour market, so as to cater for the skills needs of the country for 2012-2025. Government will introduce a skills pledge whereby employers will commit themselves to invest in continuous training and empowerment of all their employees. Government's vision is to make of Mauritius, within the next 10 years, a nation fully conscious of its immense potential as an ocean state. This is a key channel through which we can advance economically to greater prosperity. Mauritius has one of the largest exclusive economic zones in the world. In addition, the UN approved last year the coordinates submitted jointly by Mauritius and Seychelles for jurisdiction over an area of our continental shelf extending over almost 400,000 square kilometers. Thus, Mauritius now has a total area of 2.3 million square kilometers, over which it can exercise various economic rights. This is more than 1,100 times larger than our land mass, an area bigger than that of the combined land area of France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and UK. This will transform our sense of our own geography and constraints. Mauritius will be making further submissions to the UN with respect to other parts of our continental shelf, including around the Chagos archipelago, which forms part of our territory. Laying the foundations of an ocean economy will be an unprecedented quest for the expansion of our spatial boundaries, the development of scientific knowledge and business opportunities. The exercise of our rights over the waters and subsoil of the EEZ and continental shelf means that we will, as a nation, have access to potentially vast natural and mineral resources in years to come. The time has come for taking our diversification thrust a grand stride forward. Government will significantly extend the economic space for investors, businesses, workers, and the entire population by setting out a concrete and practical plan for developing the ocean economic space. The potential in the ocean economy is enormous for growing our GDP, creating high productivity jobs, and improving the living standards of our people. The economic potential of the oceans covers the exploitation of living and non-living resources in our waters, on the seabed, and in the subsoil. The development of the ocean economy will have significant positive impact on other industries, including land and sea transportation, cargo, and port services. Government's aim is to make the ocean economy one of the most important future contributors to GDP. To take full advantage of these opportunities, Mauritius must have the right regulatory regime and the level of skills required to license and supervise ocean activities, and also to service the operators involved. To this end, government will invite the nation to embark on a major rethink of the potential beyond our existing land mass and consider opportunities as an ocean state. The Mauritius Oceanographic Institute, which government set up in 1999, will be asked to lead the nation on this great journey, which will shape the future of generations to come. All fundamental and applied research on the ocean industry will be carried out under the aegis of the Mauritius Oceanographic Institute. Government has made considerable efforts in promoting the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector. They are a key channel through which new practices, new jobs, and innovation occur, an important channel for economic democratization. Government will continue to prioritize its support for the development of the SME sector by adding to the various measures already adopted to boost financing, promotion, and employment.